Good day, eh? It's Crystal Joy Johnson of CJoy Yoga. I promise you on the Patreon page that I'm going to give you tips for yoga and Ayurveda, right? And I do. Mainly through our asana, our physical postural practice. When we do our physical postural practice, I'm talking about if you're feeling heavy and lethargic and dull, this would be a practice that might help give you energy. If you're feeling anxious, right? All of that stuff really speaks to Ayurveda and the doshas. I'm not going to get into that because it's way too long of a conversation. I'll start to bring more of this in separate videos is what I'm hoping to do. That is my intention. So any of my friends interested in tips and tools, right? Ayurveda is the sister science to yoga, and it just really helps us figure out ways in our lifestyle, our diet, our sleeping patterns, things like that, that help us with health and wellness. So I'm introducing one of my favorite tools, the Neti Pot, N-E-T-I. More and more people are getting familiar with it. It's a saline rinse for your nostrils is ultimately what this tool helps you do. And I just want to say one thing briefly, and that is, a lot of times you go to the store and there's already the salt water, the saline solution in the thing, you right? And that's what a lot of people are doing. I just want to say, great, at least you're doing a saline rinse and that's wonderful, but that is so freaking aggressive, just like up in the sinuses, right? This is a much gentler way to treat the body and still get the saline rinse. Why on earth would I want to rinse my nostrils and my nasal passages? Oh, so many reasons. When you breathe, hopefully you're breathing through your nose. It's your filtration system, right? You pick up all the particulates in the air around you and hopefully they get stopped in the nose hairs and the sinuses. And so we want a way to get that out. We've heard a lot about microbiomes lately. We have so many different microbiomes, right, on our body. Our armpit is different than our skin, is different than our arm is different than our face, is different than our nostrils, different than our mouth, is different than our vagina, is different than our anus, right? And I'm no joke, like we've got them everywhere. And the idea with the microbiome is we want healthy bacteria, right, that thrives and helps us grow. And we don't want that bad bacteria that can cause, so many things, right? Illness, colds, flus, viruses, things like that. And, inflammation and all of the itises, bursitis, arthritis. Like we don't want things to stagnate. We want things to move. This is one way to help this microbiome and help the bacteria and the toxins move. So in Ayurveda, it's suggested first thing in the morning because when you sleep at night, one of the main purposes of sleep in the human body, we don't know all about it, right? We're still studying it scientifically, but one of the things we do know is it's when the body detoxifies and rejuvenates. So it's going through this, systematic way of trying to get the toxins out of your body. And so it's primed with all of this bad bacteria and toxins in the morning. So, Ayurveda does a lot for first thing in the morning. You scrape the tongue, you clean the mouth. I'll be doing videos about that in the future. You do your Neti Pot to clear the nostrils. You splash cold water on your face, right? There's all of these different ways that you can help the body in that process once you have awoken. So first thing in the morning, you might consider doing a Neti Pot, or after you've mowed a lawn, or after you've done whatever, right? You put in a little bit of salt. And then you put in, it's always suggested DI water, but I'm going to be honest here, I don't use DI water. That's too high maintenance for me and I won't make it happen. But I do use filtered water. I put a little in my little tea kettle, I heat it up, I put a little in there, and then to get it to the temperature I need, I put a little cool water in on top of that, right, to find the right temperature. And then you have that in there, right? You lean over a sink or a tub or whatever that is. I do mine outside when I live in the RV. It's lovely morning ritual with, the stars still out. And you bring it up to the nostril and you would pour it through. Now, obviously I don't have water in here. I'm not going to show you that, but I would find my angle that I need, and it takes just a little bit to figure it out, right? But once you figure it out, it's like, okay. And then it comes up through one nostril, down, or sinus through the other and down through the other nostril and empties. I do about halfway, and then I stick it in the other nostril and I tilt the other way to go through both directions. Blow the heck out of that nose to get any of that water out of there while you can, right as you're doing it. have a tissue handy for a little bit. When you first start this practice, what I found when I started this practice, it was a little bit like, you know, when you jump in water and you didn't plug your nose quite right and you're like, whew, it's not as aggressive as that, but it's still just like a little strange. But that went away from me pretty quickly, and now I can't do without it. Like, and then I also want to put out there what sold me on the Neti Pot was I started to do it around allergy season in LA. I had bad allergies, and it helped me tremendously. And so I was pretty sold on it then, but I still didn't want to do it every day. It was just more than I wanted to bring in. But it's a great place to start. Just do it, you know, one day a week, if whatever, something to start. And then I started to play with it and be like, okay, after I garden, and just like the amount of dirt and dust coming out that I could visually see was like, dang, man. And then the cellar for me was I painted a kitchen, beautiful bright yellow, not a very big kitchen. And it was just a paintbrush. It's not like I was using an aerosol sprayer. And I did the Neti Pot after that. And the amount of yellow paint that came out of my nose was disgusting. Thank you, nose, for catching all of that. So it didn't go into my lungs, but holy crap, man. And so I do it every dang day. After I do the Neti Pot, I also do what's called Nasya in Ayurveda. And it's, you take a little bit of oil, you can put it on the pinky finger just because of the smallness, right? It fits up easily. And you can put it up in your nostril, you know, as high as you comfortably can, and then rub it around so little oil gets in there. Well, I've never heard about that. Western science doesn't talk about that. You're right, it doesn't. But it becomes a cyclical thing, right? We use the saline solution, and it's great. It washes out all that old crap so that you have a really a great microbiome with healthy bacteria, right? So hopefully we stop colds and flus and coronavirus and all that crap from allergies, asthma, right? It has so many effects. From ever getting a hold of us, or at least reducing possibly the effects of those things, right? And so that's one of the benefits. We get this really healthy microbiome. But it is a saline solution. It can be drying. The body's reaction to drying, whether it's in the nostrils, on the skin, in the abdomen, dehydration, right? One of the reactions to that is to make mucus, to try to lubricate the body. And so then we end up with this excess of mucus, and that excess of mucus holds onto the bad bacteria, and voila, right? We end up in this cyclical cycle. That's redundant. So I would suggest that after you do a Neti Pot, right, blow it all out, get that water out of there, and then either I do it with an eyedropper laying on my back to let it move in and just kind of move it around and let it go up towards my nostrils or sinuses, but you can just simply put it on your finger and rub it around in there. That's Dr. Vasant Lad's method, whom he's one of the pentultimate. I love him so much. Okay, do I have anything else to say about the Neti Pot? I guess the other thing that I would say is if you have questions, ask me. Someone else probably has them. I mean, put it on the public forum, the comment page, right? Because probably someone else has the same question. I'll break down a little bit, but really if you end up buying a Neti Pot, and there is salt that you can buy with it, but for a long time I just use regular sea salt, but I do buy the Neti Pot salt now because why not? The directions are on there, you know, so you can find the directions that break it down, 1/4 teaspoon of salt and however much water, right, you know, for your Neti Pot. I was going somewhere with that and got sidetracked. That shouldn't shock anybody. Yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. You know how to get a hold of me. Amazing, amazing tool for health and well-being, and I'm so grateful. I've had it in my life as long as I have, and it's helped me with my allergies. I haven't gotten a cold or flu in so long, and even when I did, it wasn't that big of a flu, right? And I don't know, I think it's a beautiful little tool. Oh, I don't know if I told you where you can get them here in town. You can find them all over online. But here in town, you can go to Andy's Market and College Place and support local. You can also go to, I believe last time I was at Huckleberry's, I don't know, a while ago when I was looking at some of their stuff, they now have the Neti Pots there and the Neti Salt as well. So you can also go to Huckleberry's at Super One. So that's a way to support local instead of buying online and continuing to, you know, do things to our planet and all the other things. Okay. I think I'm done now. Yeah.